Ilia Topuria versus Charles Oliveira in a few days will not go the distance. Let me explain. Now look, we both know Ilia Topuria is a power puncher and a half. We've seen what he's done to Volkanovski and to Max Holloway, unfortunately. Two massive fan favourites, and they were taken out in devastating style. Now look, Max Holloway never ever been finished in his UFC history or in MMA history. And Ilia was the man to take him out and destroy that record once and for all. Alexander Volkanovski's only lost to Islam Makhachev by vicious knockout. The second person to do that was Ilia Topuria. So, when we've got a 145-pounder killer going up to 155, what does that mean for Topuria? Well, the only logical thing I can think of is that he's going to be he's going to be better hydrated. He's not going to have to be suffering from the weight cut, as he's explained earlier today, in the past few days, that it's the best fight camp he's ever had. He's feeling good. He's feeling refreshed. He's probably eating whatever he wants to eat. Whilst Charles Oliveira is absolutely dehydrated and cutting the shit out of his weight. So I think his power is going to be there, if not even more. It's impossible that this fight goes the full 5 rounds and it leaves to the judges' scorecards. I think for this fight, the judges can go to sleep, have a nice easy night, and, start their shift the next day, because there's no need for them to stay awake for this fight. This fight simply will not end without a KO or a sub. It's impossible, man. Some may argue to say that it won't even go past the first round. I think that's a bit crazy to say, man. But I understand where you're coming from. Charles Oliveira, bit chinny. He's been rocked by Gaethje, Chandler, and Dustin Poirier. And, of course, Islam Makhachev before he got submitted. So, it's impossible for this fight to go the full 5 rounds. I think this fight it could even be argued to be ended within 2. And that's in favour of Ilia Topuria, man. My heart says Oliveira, my brain says Ilia. I'm really, really rooting for Charles to get the job done. I'm hoping he can, after all the smack Topuria's been talking. This guy's just oral farming like crazy, man. If I'm being absolutely honest with you guys, he's holding his press conferences. He's saying that he feels sorry for Charles. He's saying he's just another man in front of his way, and he knows the result already, bro. Like, I think there's no one else that's oral farming right now the same way Ilia Topuria is, and it's reminiscent of Conor McGregor's come up to the UFC, into the UFC, I should say. But would you say that confidence is fake or real? And I would say it's probably real, man. When you look at his record and you see that he's 16-0, and in his UFC career, only 2 of his fights have gone by decision, it probably says a lot. Yeah, it doesn't. It's not probably. It says a lot. KO against Jai Harvey did get dropped in that fight. Arm triangle against Bryce Mitchell. Decision against Josh Emmett. And then you've got the 2 featherweight goats, Volkanovski and Holloway, knockout in the 2nd and 3rd round. So it's scary, man. If I'm Oliveira, I'd be scared. And as Ilia Topuria says, if I touch that chin, it's game over, it's finished. You look at Oliveira, man, look at his stats. He lost to Sorokin, amazing fighter, and he lost to Makhachev. But he's won in vicious style against Chandler, Dustin, Justin, and Beneil Dariush. Not to mention the Michael Chandler decision. That went to decision. That was a really good fight as well. So, we've got a fighter at 155 that can hit pretty damn hard. Amazing Muay Thai. Amazing in the clinch. Phenomenal BJJ. And then you've got a devastating knockout artist that has Greco-Roman freestyle wrestling as his background. And pretty much his base is apparently BJJ. He's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Started off with wrestling, transitioned to jiu-jitsu, and now he is a knockout machine. It's as if he's built from the ground up perfectly. He might actually represent the modern age fighter. He's probably the guy, if I'm being honest with you guys. There's nothing that Ilia Topuria hasn't covered. he's pretty much perfect, pretty much the perfect fighter you can make. So I'm so sorry, but I'm still trying to come to terms with who I believe will win this fight. I still haven't placed my own bet. I don't bet, but like as in just a normal bet who I think would win, because the fighters moving up from one division to another, there's not really much of a great track record, if I must say. So Topuria going up against already a hard puncher at 155 is interesting, and it's really awkward because you've got so many things that favour each other. You've got Charles Oliveira, amazing BJJ, but then you've got Ilia Topuria, who's apparently got world-class Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So, but then, the other question is, we haven't seen Ilia in trouble on the ground before against someone as good as Charles in a higher weight class. Do you catch my drift? So, a higher weight class against a proper Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu boy is not something easy. You don't want to be on the ground with Charles. I'll tell you that for free, mate. You've got Charles's chin versus Ilia's 50-50 grappling. And then you've got Ilia's power and crisp boxing in the pocket versus Charles Oliveira's good Muay Thai clinch work. So it's really tough to call, man. But if I had to put a bet on it, man, if my life depended on it, I think this fight is over in 2 rounds. I think it's not going to be longer than 10 minutes. Probably second round KO win to Ilia Topuria. I don't see any other way this would go. And this is a bet that I'm making if my life was on the line.